here to say stop, drop, and go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
So I had to come and bring my sister with me because we both need to take care of ourselves. Amen.
Ourselves, we're not good to anybody else. If we don't fill up with what we need, then what are we pouring out into anyone else?
Looking forward to our speakers, looking forward to networking, looking forward to being with everyone at such an exciting retreat.
Learn and go through and change our lives so we can live and live as long as God calls us to live.
Let's all take a deep cleansing breath.
And so we're going to take a journey in how to reinstate the lives that God has intentionally given us to live.
I want you to really think about those things that you need to just leave behind.
Released our bodies. It made us ready for the day. Our minds.
And bring you to the E factor. Eliminate any negative thoughts. Eliminate those individuals that are in your lives that are trying to hold you back.
There's a lot of laughing, a lot of hugging, and a lot of releasing of what we don't need and being open to what we do have.
So Princeton's here right now to help you get your money right.
It is my responsibility to teach every person I talk to at least 1% more than what they already know about wealth building.
This is a special moment.
Not only does God have you, we got you too. So sisters, we got you. And this has been an amazing journey. Powerful, all the big words you can think of, that's what today is. I am that woman.
Now I want you to take the right elbow and put it down on the knee.
But this was definitely refreshing. It opened me up. I feel looser.
That is what being honest to yourself and your journey is about.
I take myself down from the dead. Oh, come on, let me put you in my car.
There's a plethora of things to do in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
So happy to be here, and I look forward to hosting it in the U.S. Virgin Islands next year.
It has been so inspiring. It was really exhilarating. Can't wait until next year. I want to be in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands.
You don't want to miss it. You want to make sure that you are there with us.
That we will be going to the USVI to St. Thomas next year at the Westin. We already have it being coordinated. Registration will be opening soon. You do not want to miss putting your deposit down and locking it in, because next year is going to be just as powerful as this year, if not even more. So until then, I love you guys, and namaste, and may God be with you.
Hello, and hello. Happy Friday. I am so happy and blessed that you have decided to join me today. I'm Twyler Jenkins. I am the founder and president of the I Am That Woman movement. And today it's Friday. That means that we've made it to another week, and it has been a blessed week. I pray that you have been blessed this week. I'm excited about today, and I hope that you are too. We started with our promo video. Yes, I wish we were there already, as we are sitting in a snowstorm here in Chicago. But October the 2nd through the 6th, we are going to St. Thomas, to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and you do not want to miss it. Registration is now open. Go to our website, IamThatWomanMovement.org. Register now. It only costs you $500 to put down your non-refundable deposit. I'm going to run that information at the bottom of the screen so you will know how to go and register. IamThatWomanMovement.org. Trust you me, mark my words, on today being January the 12th, we are going to sell out this year. We have a limited capacity, so you do not want to wait. It's amazing speakers. It's amazing food. This year, going to St. Thomas is going to be an amazing destination. And so you don't want to miss helping us to help you with your holistic wellness, mind, body, and spirit is our theme this year. And we are focusing on your personal and professional development. Next week, I will be sharing some testimonials from women who came last year about their experience. Don't just take my word for it. I want you to hear from other ladies who have come and attended the I Am That Woman retreat. It's absolutely amazing. What does it do? You might ask, Twyler, I know it's a retreat, but I mean, what does it do exactly? Well, we focus on your mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and physical well-being. We leave nothing on the table. Starting with Wednesday, a warm welcome reception with lots of foods and drinks and cocktails. It's going to be amazing at the brand new Westin Resort and Spa in St. Thomas. Then on Thursday, we start with the spiritual awakening. It's going to be by the ocean with fire and drums, and it's just going to be a cultural and spiritual awakening experience that you will not want to miss. You will have some cleansing opportunities, some self-discovery opportunities, and so much more. As we proceed inside, we'll have a breakfast buffet, and then our world-renowned, world-class, amazing speakers talking to you about your mental and emotional and physical and financial wellness. Yes, we talk about it all. We do a deep dive. If you're not ready to do some work on yourself, don't come to this retreat. But if you are ready to make some changes, if you're ready to soar, if you're ready to grow, if you're ready to live in your destiny, then you want to register for the I Am That Woman retreat, because that's exactly what you are going to experience. It's amazing. Any ladies who join me today, drop it in the chat what your own experience has been like. And I'm sure you can bring a friend with you as well. So on Thursday, we finish out our sessions. We're not in the ballroom all day. We're at a 5-star resort. We want to make sure you have time to get out and enjoy it. After our keynote speaker by 3 p.m., you are off and running to the races to go shopping in St. Thomas. You can go to the pool, go to the beach, just commingle with some new sisters, some old sisters, do whatever it is that you want to do that afternoon on Thursday. And then on Friday, guess what? We're taking a private day tour to St. John. Yes, your registration fee includes all of this. Every day we're feeding you, we're taking you to destinations. You're not just going to get one island, but 2 islands this year. So we will be in St. Thomas, and then we're going over to St. John on the ferry, and we'll have some amazing cultural experiences, see some of the best beaches that you've ever experienced in the world. Relax, take time for some self-care, have a massage on the beach. There's all kinds of things that you can do. After we travel back from St. John, having breakfast on St. Thomas and lunch on St. John, you have dinner on your own. And then on Saturday, we come back to finish out our sessions on our holistic wellness. And then on Saturday afternoon, we have a keynote speaker. We'll have a wonderful brunch. You have all of the afternoon to yourself to go to the spa, to go shopping. Guess what? There's no taxes in St. Thomas. So for those ladies who love those high-end jewelers, you might want to come and pick up your David Yurman pieces and your John Henry pieces. So trust you me, it is an amazing experience. Saturday night, we celebrate. We have a group photo, and then we celebrate our wins. You, trust me, will have some wins, some breakthroughs, some amazing experiences on just being in a sisterhood that affirms you, that helps you say yes, that promises you that you can do whatever it is that God has destined for you to do. So go to our website right now, read more information, watch our video again, IamThatWomanMovement.org, and register now for the I Am That Woman retreat. Again, it's going to be in St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Hey, Soror Desi, love seeing you here. Hey, Shy, good afternoon. So make sure that you register. Desi, bring all the sands this year. So we're going to have an amazing time. Today is an amazing day. You know what? As we're moving into 2024, we know that there is so much that's going on in this crazy world that we live in. And we know that we have to have tools and resources to keep our head on our shoulders these days. And there is no better way to have to be properly equipped, then to hear from a clinical psychologist to tell you some things that you can do daily, weekly, monthly, some new practices, some things that may even be trending or things that maybe you don't even know about. I know that, of course, you always hear me promote about mindfulness, spiritual mindfulness, to start your day in meditation and prayer. And we have that resource. We have a prayer and meditation line. But right now, I have the pleasure of bringing my good friend, my one and only, Dr. Algean Garner, my other half, to you this afternoon to talk about our emotional and mental wellness. And what are some best practices as we go into this new year, 2024? They always say that there's more, but will you have more joy? Will you have more peace? Will you have more financial stability? What more is it that you want? So welcome to the stage, Dr. Algean Garner. Hey there.
Hey, good afternoon and happy Friday. Happy snowy Friday. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me back. See if I can get myself a little more centered here, which is good because we're going to talk about grounding and centering ourselves, right? So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I hope everyone is doing well and staying warm and safe on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. As the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. I bought me a snowblower, wanted some snow, but I didn't want all this.
I know, right? Hey, Deatrice Bradley, thank you for joining us. So, Dr. Garner, thank you again for coming back. I appreciate it. This is how we met the first time, so it's so apropos. And so I welcome you. But for all of those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So, about me, in a nutshell, I am a psychologist by trade, a chef by fun. And so whatever that need might be for you, I can feed your mind, body, and spirit.
That is so true. And your place of employment right now, you work for a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, I do work for a not-for-profit, and it's called the Children's Place Association. And what we do is we provide supportive services, including mental, physical, and housing support for those who are in need. We also have an early learning program and a couple of home-based programs, as well as our Child Thrive. So we try to cover the lifespan in the supportive services that we provide.
And that is something that we definitely need in our community. Hey, Baritone, thanks for joining us today. So, Dr. Garner, we are here to talk about our mental and emotional wellness. And as we were prepping for today's interview, I asked, what is the difference? Is there a difference in our emotional well-being, in our mental well-being? Just talk to us a little bit about the difference or the similarities.
Well, to start, our mental wellness, I would say, is the larger umbrella. So we have our mental wellness. Under that is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So they're all components, but it's under that umbrella of mental wellness. And so or our mental health. And we really want to make sure all the components are well taken care of, are all tuned up, because they feed into each other, right? And so when we think about our emotions, we want to have good emotional control. We probably all know 1, 2, maybe 3 people who go from 0 to 110 in less than 5 seconds. That's not a healthy emotional state. So we want to have balance. We want to have boundaries. So we have to take care of our emotions. We want to have those past injuries, those past wounds heal, so that we can continue to move forward in our lives in a positive and affirming manner. We also want to watch our thoughts, our thinking. You know, the Bible does tell us, as a person, I want to say person, not man or woman, as a person thinks, so is he or she. So, for example, if you wake up and before your foot touches the floor, your thought is, I am going to have a bad day, you are going to have a bad day, because that's every thought that you have is going to follow that. But if you hit the reset button and say, well, I'm going to have a good day, your goldfish could die, you could be standing in a flood and someone ate your steak dinner, and you're still going to have a good day. So our thinking and our cognitions are very important. It drives how we are, how we interact, how we feel, and how we get through the day. And then our social well-being, we want to be in environments and around people that are feeding good things to us.
Good. All right. So you even took a step deeper, our mental, emotional, and our social well-being. So today's show is about some best practices because we know there is a whole lot going on out here. You watch the news, you can be overwhelmed mentally and emotionally by, just being consumed. You're on social media. You can get consumed with things that are going on social media. Even if it's not about you, even if it's about other people, you can kind of get wrapped up in conversations and reading comments. And the next thing you know, your heart is fluttering and your blood pressure your blood pressure is up. If you pass the things that just don't make you laugh. So you can also be on social media and have a real good time at, all the craziness. But we do, I believe, need to have some tools in our toolkit on how to navigate this. What are some of the things that you would suggest and recommend to help get through just watching the news and just what's going on? Wars and rumors of wars, famine in the land, all the things that kind of look like we are in those last days.
It does look like that. And I feel like my grandmother, my grandfather, my dad, oh, this is the end of times, because it really does feel like that. And we do live in a world that is stressful, that creates a lot of stress. And I'm sorry for moving around a little bit. I'm fighting the glare, so I probably will take my glasses on and off. And there is social injustice. We are coming out of COVID, but it feels like we are slipping back in COVID. There's a lot of trauma. Those who have lost loved ones, there's survival guilt. How come I survived and they didn't? So there are a number of things that are impacting us and continue to impact us. So there's lots of depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. But there is hope, okay? And I believe you started talking about it last week, and I made a couple notes. The first thing that we have to do is stop, right? Stop and do a self-evaluation. Look at what's going on with me. You grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and start writing, because if we don't write it down, it won't make sense 5 minutes from now. Yeah. And just do a self-inventory, or even maybe just a self-check. Ask yourself, how am I doing? Where am I? What are some of the things I've accomplished in the last year? What are some of the things that I've missed? Where are some things that I dropped the ball? And begin making that inventory. A very good friend of mine, he did this every year. That was one of his things. He actually took a short vacation, maybe 4 or 5 days, where he got away from everybody and everything and just did this self-check. We take our cars in for a tune-up. Our computers, they check themselves daily. We need to do it for ourselves because we are always on the go. So the first, stop, take a breath, start doing that self-check. Do your own self-diagnostics. And actually, in prepping for this, I was thinking that sometimes we need someone to help us do that. So I am giving thought to maybe next year, not this year, but setting up for others. Hey, come in for your self-check, no cost. Let's just see where you are, and then we go from there. So begin to write down those things that, your goals, whatever you accomplish. What are the things that are stressing you? What makes you happy? What has made you unhappy? And then begin to design a plan around that. Set some goals. What are your goals? And we touched on that, or you touched on it last week. SMART goals. We have to have a direction. Now, unless you are a trucker with 50 years of experience, I don't think any one of us would jump in our car right now and drive to California without a map or GPS, right? And even if you have GPS, you still need a map because that GPS may send you off. So we have to have a direction, and we have to have goals, because what happens if we say, I'm going to lose weight? We won't accomplish it. The can will get kicked down the road. We don't have a number to anchor to, and things like that. And now we can talk about it ad nauseum until we're both blue in the face about resolutions. I am not a resolution person.
Right.
Because it's not specific. So as we look at setting that goals, we're going to do the SMART goal. Specific, I want to lose 15 pounds by June 30th, right? Measurable. You got your number of pounds. You can even get down to I want to lose a pound a week for the next several weeks. It has to be achievable. It has to be realistic, doable. As much as I would love to be the middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears, ain't gonna happen at this point in my life. I'm too old, I'm too fat, and I'm too slow, right? So, and my time has passed. But so it's not achievable. But I can say, you know what? By July 1st of 2024, I want to reduce my body fat percentage by 8%. Doable. It has to be relative. It has to apply to you. We have wonderful people in our lives, and we have people who want to speak into our lives. And keep this in mind, no one can speak into your life unless you give them permission. But that goal has to be yours. If someone says, I want you to be a size 4, is that relative to you? Probably not. So it has to be something that fits you. And then it has to be time limited. You got to have that deadline, because we know, and if you're like me, I'm guilty of it. I am a procrastinator. If I can kick that can down the road, best believe it's going to be July 1st, then it's going to be August 30th, then it's going to be December 31st. It won't happen. So we have to have a specific point of measure so we can look and say, okay, I might have missed the mark, but I'm better than what I was. So I'm starting making these steps.
You're right. Last week I did talk about that a little bit. And it was, instead of just making resolutions, to be reflective. Start by being reflective. So to your point, just taking a minute, pausing, and looking back on 2023. What were those wins? What were some of those lessons, And so we don't have losses, we have lessons. And so, and then you talked about SMART goals, and I just put that up there. And SMART actually means something. I don't know the acronym. What is that acronym for SMART goals?
So specific, so it has to be targeted, measurable. I want to lose weight. I want to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds. It has to be achievable, something that's realistic, right? So it's probably not realistic to want to lose 80 pounds in 2 months, or, something like, but it has to be realistic and achievable that you can do, so you aren't setting yourself up for failure. Relative. Those things, it has to apply to you. It can't be a goal that someone else set for you, or something that's not set by an influencer. Not trying to knock them, but influencers are not relative to us all the time. And then it has to be time and measured, a length of time. It has to have a starting point and a stopping point.
Very good. So I'm just going to put that up there for anyone taking notes for your SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relative, and then set a time to it so you can kind of track your progress. And if you fall down, just get back up. So that's really, really good. For anybody who wants to contact Dr. Garner, you can do so via email or by phone. So just make sure, because Dr. Garner, you also take private clients. Is that correct?
I do take private clients. I can see you face to face, or I can do telehealth, whatever works. Because we live in a world, I was not a fan of telehealth at first, but on a day like this, it would be very useful.
Exactly. And to your point, something that you said is, in these best practices, setting SMART goals is a part of that, being reflective. But you also, in our prep call, talked about, you, of course, been a clinical psychologist, but we've talked about it before, and I've talked about it with other guests. It sometimes has been a taboo to talk to someone about your mental and emotional concerns that you may have, whether it's from past traumas and dramas, whether it's from experiencing grief and loss suddenly, or perhaps, a lot in a short period of time. I know I've had to have some grief counseling in the past with losing like 6 friends in a matter of 3 months or something like that. And the way that it affected me, was pretty hard. So talk about why it's important to have a counselor, a therapist, a life coach, just somebody to help you with what's going on with all that's in the world, and even life, just the life that we've had.
Yeah. You need someone who is honest, who is unbiased, who can stand on the outside of your life and look in and guide you. Not necessarily give advice. Advice giving works and sometimes it doesn't. I tell my clients I don't give advice because if I tell you what to do and you do it and it works, you don't get to take the full joy of achieving it, right? If I tell you and it doesn't work, then you're mad at me and then we have a whole nother kettle of fish to deal with. But you need a person who can really objectively look at you and look into your life and help you come up with solutions and answers in a direction that works for you. Our friends are wonderful, but remember, our friends are our friends and they have a bias. And then some of our friends have their own agenda. And then there are just individuals, friend or not, who aren't qualified to speak into your life. And we as African Americans, and I'll be brutally honest, the mental health, just as the physical health field, have not been kind to us. But it is better. We have qualified individuals that look like us, that have had similar experiences as us, that understand how our traumas, our backgrounds, the things that we go through, and can help us navigate, right? And that's what it's really about. How do we navigate these potholes, these minefields, these landmines that we have hit, and do it with someone who may not know my experience, right? I haven't walked in your shoes, but understands it enough to help me get to my next level, my next, interaction, so that I'm doing okay. Therapists have therapists, right? We don't do it alone. We are not designed and built by God to be alone. We are built to be in relation and connection with each other.
Very good. So that's so important that, you seek help, counseling, grief counseling. We talk about some of these things at the retreat. And that's why we do this conversation series every Friday, is because we are about providing information, resources, and events for one's holistic wellness. And I don't think, to your point, you know everything. And sometimes you may be going through some emotional things that you don't know how to deal with. It could be related to the weather. It could be related to the loss of a loved one. And loss isn't just from even a loved one. It can be from a job or a promotion that you were working on. There's many things that can grieve us, or there's many challenges and things that we go through. So considering, just the pressures of the world and living, some parents are even dealing with, their children and how kids are dealing with their mental and emotional wellness is a lot different than when we were coming up and what our mental and emotional wellness is. Give us some insight on maybe what some parents can do to help their kids, especially when it comes to what we talked about a few minutes ago, social media.
Unplug. Unplug the phone, unplug the computer, turn off. I don't even think kids use Facebook. I have no idea what they use now. But we need to have that quality time. We need to have that human interaction. I remember growing up where the campaign on TV was, turn off the TV, right? And now with phones, everything is accessible 24 hours a day. Don't be afraid to monitor and screen your kids' phones. Until they are 21 and out of your house and living on their own, there is no privacy. We can be respectful, but there is no privacy because you need to know what's going on. The access that the internet and social media has given is so much greater now. So we have to have another level of control. But outside of that, I think creating an environment where your kids feel comfortable talking to you and with you. One of the things I love about my niece Autumn, other than she's being Autumn, is that she is not afraid to talk to her friends around me. So whether we're in the car or whether we're sitting at the table, she talks. And I don't intrude. And if there's something that I hear that I question, I'll make a note, and then she and I will have a conversation. So just create that space, that platform where your children can talk to you. And one of the things that I have learned many, many years ago is don't tell your children, don't talk to me about that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to know. Because when you say that, it closes a door. I think you can be honest and say, hey, this is a difficult conversation, but you always want your children to be able to come to you and talk to you no matter how difficult it is.
That is true. I think creating a safe space for your children to be open to you is really, really important. And number one thing that you said, unplug. Make sure that you know what they are looking at and what's consuming their young minds, because they, of course, formulate their own mental and emotional well-being around what's consuming them. Music, videos, all of that has an impression on their minds, their bodies, their spirits, what they think, how they think. And so it's important to monitor that, as you said, and as well make sure that you create a safe space for your children, because our kids today definitely are dealing with some different mental and emotional issues, and we have to understand those things. In your counseling, and as we close out, in your counseling with young people, what's the biggest difference that you see maybe now in your career path than perhaps 10 or 20 years ago?
In terms of the difference between working with children and adults, or just in general?
Just in general.
I am seeing now more resistance to change. A lot of my clients have their heels dug in, and they don't want to change. It's not me, it's them. And so that makes it a little bit harder to facilitate change. And one of the questions that I will ask, depending on the situation, is, well, if everybody is telling you that you're angry, is everybody wrong? Let's look at that. Help me understand and help me see it the way that you do, or why that's coming your way, so that it fosters that conversation and that dialogue. I also think that because we live in this society that desires quick responses, and we have no delayed gratification, we want instant results. Our health does not resolve itself instantly. It takes time. I guess you and I probably grew up in the microwave generation, right? I don't know what you call it now. It's like a nanosecond. And so there is less patience, less tolerance. I want it right now. I want to feel better by the end of our 50 minutes today, Dr. Garner. Can't promise you that. But I can promise you stick with it, you'll see change, you'll facilitate some changes that will last longer, right? That will stick, that will not come and go.
That is so true. Such a good point. Good point. That you just have to do the work. And that is why we are here, providing tools, information, and resources. As you shared today, set some SMART goals, be reflective, take some time to journal, take some time to call somebody, get a life coach, a therapist, not just your friends and your family members, but perhaps when you are dealing with mental and emotional issues, getting some help, some professional licensed help that will help you grow, not just to tell you what's wrong with you, but to put you on a path of growth. Anything that you want to add in closing, Dr. Garner?
Yeah, so we touched on kind of the tools for the knapsack, if you will, in terms of maintaining that mental and emotional health. Exercise, right? Exercise, get out there, walk. Well, maybe not on a day like this, but bundle up, you can still do it. Eat healthy, avoid drugs and alcohol, right? Drugs and alcohol, temporary fix, creates more problems than it solves. Build a real human touch social network. Definitely get involved with your church, increase your spirituality, and feed yourself good things. And above all else, try to unplug at least once a day, right? Because we are bombarded with all this negative stuff. So turn the TV off, turn off the news, put on some good music, pick up a book, just so that you can have some downtime. Do some self-care. And I don't mean it in a cliche way, but do those things that put fuel into your tank. It could be having a cup of coffee with all the lights off. It could be listening to some good music. And if you want some good music, I see my friend Baritone is on the line. That brother's got some music that will soothe your soul. I love to cook. Cooking, from when I go into the kitchen, I am in another world. That's my therapy. For some, it could be yoga. Whatever it is, do those things that are for you and fills you with goodness. And also, every day, practice gratitude. It can start as simple as every morning you get up, think of 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for, and keep the focus on those things that are good, right? We all probably have heard this before. If not, I'm going to share it anyway. I once complained about having no shoes until I met a man who had no feet.
Yeah.
So we've got to be grateful for those things. I want a Ferrari, but I got a Ford. And guess what? I love my Ford. It gets me to where I got to go. So those are just some things. And, feel free to call me, email. I'm happy to just talk and have a conversation about you and what you may need. And then we go from there, because again, we tune up our cars, we take care of our lawns. We need to tune ourselves up. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to reset, and refresh so that we can move forward. And it was not by coincidence I wore this t-shirt. I stole this from my church. We got to keep moving forward. Our past is wonderful. We can learn from it. We can grow from it. We don't have to live there.
That's right. Learn from your past, grow from your past. Don't stay stuck in your past. Those were some wonderful tips. Practice gratitude daily, making sure that you elevate. I always say, elevate the altitude of your attitude by practicing gratitude. And you can do that even with us Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. You're on our line sometimes. Just call in. We always take Mondays and Fridays to practice gratitude. It is absolutely a beautiful way to make sure that you have a good day. You woke up. You can move. So that is something to be grateful about. Dr. Garner, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate
you. Are welcome.
Sharing your
one last thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought about this. I'm going to help us get practice with our gratitude. So our statement, our quote for today as we end, I can feel it. Today is the start of something good.
I can feel it. Today is the start of something good. I'm right there with you. It's been a good day. Having you here today has been good for me, and I hope it's been good for all of those who are watching now and may watch the recording later. Thank you so much. Again, your information, if anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they contact you? Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. If they want to reach out to you, there's the email address and the phone number. I was just going to have you tell them if there was any other way. Social media, you're on social media, how they can reach out to you. But just wanted to make sure that anybody who's on the line who needs a clinical psychologist or someone to talk to about some additional mental or emotional support, reach out to Dr. Garner.
Yep. Call, text, Facebook. Facebook is good for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Garner. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Have a great one. Thank you.
No problem. You too. Well, that concludes our show today about best practices on your mental and emotional wellness. I hope that you learned a little something and put a new tool in your toolkit. If it's nothing more than, like he said, practicing gratitude every day. List 3 things as soon as you wake up in the morning. What are you grateful for? So just spend some time being mindful. And like I said too, and you're welcome, Shai, like I said, every Monday through Friday, you can join us for prayer and meditation on a conference call, 605-313-5104, access code 345235. We might be changing that number next month, but right now for this month, 605-313-5104, and the access code is 345235#. Every Monday, Dr. Portia Lockett joins us to lead us in our Monday morning manna. So don't miss this wonderful network that you can join, the sisterhood and brotherhood. It's not just for definitely not just for women. We have men on there too. And you're so welcome, Deetris, for speaking on, for joining us as we talked about our mental and emotional wellness. And you are welcome too, Shai. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's show and learned a couple of things. That concludes our time. Don't forget to go and register. I Am That Woman movement. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the networks. Follow us, comment. We're going to be giving out a free assessment for your mental and emotional wellness. Do a check. So do that self-reflection that Dr. Garner talked about today and I talked about last week. So it's important to be self-reflective. Also, I forgot to talk to Dr. Garner about this, but we have a vision board event coming up next month. We've given you this month to be reflective. So next Saturday, February the 3rd, first Saturday in February. I'm trying to get it together over here. First Saturday in February the 3rd. We are going to be hosting a vision board session. And I'm super excited about this because one of our speakers from the retreat, Yvette Jones-Johnson, is coming back to lead us through that vision board session. So it's not just about bringing a bunch of magazines and cutting out a bunch of pictures. No, we're going to help you really create a process to help you set those SMART goals and have a wonderful year. So mark your calendar, save the date, Saturday, February the 3rd from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I will be posting it on our social media. I'm sure I'll be working with Craig over the weekend to get that graphic done. And we're going to start promoting. Those tickets are only going to be, I think, $45, but we'll be having all of the details. Come on out and join us. It'll be part of my birthday celebration because my birthday is February the 9th. All right, that concludes our show for the day. I'm going to close with our wonderful, amazing, inspiring video one more time so you can know what to expect. October 2nd through the 6th this year in St. Thomas. Do not miss registering for the I Am That Woman retreat. Bye-bye.
This was the year to say stop, drop, and go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So I had to come and bring my sister with me because we both need to take care of ourselves. Amen.
Ourselves, we're not good to anybody else. If we don't fill up with what we need, then what are we pouring out into anyone else?
Looking forward to our speakers, looking forward to networking, looking forward to being with everyone at such an exciting retreat.
Learn and go through and change our lives so we can live and live as long as God calls us to live.
Let's all take a deep cleansing breath.
And so we're going to take a journey in how to reinstate the lives that God has intentionally given us to live.
I want you to really think about those things that you need to just leave behind.
Released our bodies. It made us ready for the day. Our minds.
And bring you to the E factor. Eliminate any negative thoughts. Eliminate those individuals that are in your lives that are trying to hold you back.
There's a lot of laughing, a lot of hugging, and a lot of releasing of what we don't need and being open to what we do have.
So Princeton's here right now to help you get your money right.
It is my responsibility to teach every person I talk to at least 1% more than what they already know about wealth building.
This is a special moment.
Not only does God have you, we got you too. So sisters, we got you. And this has been an amazing journey.
Power in numbers.
Powerful. All the big words you can think of, that's what today was.
I am that woman. Now I want you to take that right elbow and put it down on the knee.
This was definitely refreshing. It opened me up. I feel looser.
That is what being honest to yourself and your journey is about.
I take myself down
from the dead.
Oh, come on, let me put you in my car.
There's a plethora of things to do in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
So happy to be here, and I look forward to hosting it in the U.S. Virgin Islands next year. It has been so inspiring. It was really exhilarating. Can't wait until next year. I want to be in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands.
You don't want to miss it. You want to make sure that you are there with us.
That we will be going to the USVI to St. Thomas next year at the Westin. We already have it being coordinated. Registration will be opening soon. You do not want to miss putting your deposit down and locking it in, because next year is going to be just as powerful as this year, if not even more. So until then, I love you guys, and namaste, and may God be with you.